Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very interesting video. The rainy season is here. Oh, क्या बात है animation team? पाउस ब्यूस एकदम, some nice thunder. माहौल बन गया अभी पूरा, right? So we are loving the rainy seasons here in Pune, Maharashtra, and I'm sure all over India everyone is enjoying the rains. Be careful as well. But as we enjoy the rains, that is one part of the story. We enjoy the weather. Another way to enjoy this is selecting good quality stocks, and that will be even better if I were to choose good quality stocks from the automobile space, a space wherein India has become third largest, overtaking Japan in the immediate previous month. So this is going to be a very interesting and an important video. This will cover the basics about the company, the fundamentals, technicals, everything. So keep on watching the video till the end. But before we move on, I would want to give a quick shout out to Selvama and Soumya Deep Das for their wonderful comments. So let's begin with the very first stock, and before I even tell you the name, of course everyone is aware that this is nowhere close to a recommendation. I'm just presenting my analysis in front of you. The first stock is Eicher Motors Limited. Now first of all we have to understand, okay, agreed that it is a leading player in the automobile industry, but what does the company do? They are mainly into two segments. The very first one is about bikes and the second one is about commercial vehicle segment. Now if I talk about bikes plus Eicher Motors, I'm sure you can easily correlate with the brand. It is Royal Enfield. Now this is one of the world's oldest motorcycle brands, and they have been manufacturing bikes under this brand since 1901. And what Eicher Motor Limited does is that they manufacture Royal Enfields. They sell it not only in India, but they sell it across 60 different countries of the world. So I'm sure you are able to understand what big presence this company has as far as the bike segment is concerned. Now moving on to the commercial vehicle segment, the moment I talk about Volvo, I'm sure you can easily correlate with this image. And for that, what Eicher Motors Limited has done is that they have entered into a joint venture with whom? With Sweden's AB Volvo, that is Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicles Limited, and it is because of this joint venture that they are able to manufacture and sell Volvo buses. So I hope the first point about what does the company do is absolutely clear. Now let's understand about the history of this company in a very interesting way. This company was incorporated as Eicher Tractor Corporation of India in 1958. Then in 1959, they built the first indigenous Eicher tractor. In 1987, Eicher Tractors went public. In 1993, Eicher acquired majority stake in Enfield India, that was 60% equity shareholding. In 2005, Eicher Motors Limited disinvested the business of tractors and engines, and in 2008, Volvo Group and Eicher Motors Limited established VE Commercial Ventures Limited. Well, now let's try and understand the market share of Royal Enfield in two scenarios. Number one, Royal Enfield share in overall market share of motorcycles, and Royal Enfield share especially in the greater than 125cc category. Okay, because I'm sure everyone knows that they are famous for the power bikes. So we are also going to focus on greater than 125cc category as well. And for that, have a look at this chart. So if you see from 2014 to 2018, the market share in both these segments has been growing. From 18 to 21, somehow it remains sideways, and from 21, again this has started picking up. But now we also have to understand what all are the favorable reasons that why is the market share of Royal Enfield again picking up. And for that, have a look at this chart. If you see, the overall customer base of Royal Enfield falls into the 26 to 35 age category. Okay, this is the highest with 41%. Now what we have to understand, okay, Royal Enfield, if it has 100 customers, just to explain this pie chart, if Royal Enfield has 100 customers, 41 customers are from the 26 to 35 age category, 28 are from over 35 years of age, and 31 out of those 100 will be in the 18 to 25 age bar, right? Now if we are focusing on the 26 to 35, which is the highest share, we have to understand whether this matches with the overall India's demography. And for that, you can have a look at this chart. If you see from in 2021, the highest demography fits into the age bar of 20 to 59 years of age, which is 55.8%. So this is as good as out of 100 people in India, almost 56 people are into the age bar of 20 to 59. But fast forward to 2031, 10 years later, it is expected that from 55.8 will go up to 58.8. That is an increase of 300 basis points. Now, how is this beneficial for Royal Enfield? Obviously, is the overall Indian demography matching with their customer base? Ideally, yes. That is point number one. And point number two, this is a young population. They have money, they have the spending capacity, they love to travel. And that is the reason why their business ideally sees this as a favorable position. Well, now that you have understood about bike segment, now let's go to the second segment, which is the commercial vehicle segment. Here we have two major vehicles. One is trucks and the other one is buses. Trucks get further divided as heavy duty trucks and the second one is light and medium duty trucks. Now for that, let's have an understanding about what is their market share in comparison with two other key competitors. One is Tata Motors and one is Ashok Leyland. And for that, have a look at this chart. Now if you see in the heavy duty truck segment, their market share is as low as 8.3% and the growth also has been pretty much flattish. But if you check out the light and medium duty trucks, you can see that currently the market share, even though it is 31.5%, still the growth has been pretty much flattish. But if we go on to the buses market share, now here you can see that till the previous year they were at the third spot in 2022-23 they have come up to the second spot with 24.1% market share. Now let's try and understand whether the company is able to clock higher sales or lower sales in comparison with their best ever individual performance. So for that, let me just explain you a little bit. As far as the heavy duty trucks sales are involved, their previous high they had clocked was in quarter 3 of FY23, which was 5,889 units, and this quarter they were able to sell 8,147 units. As far as the light and medium duty trucks are concerned, the highest ever was in financial year 2018 with 11,019 units, and this quarter they clocked 11,978 units. As far as the bus division is concerned, their highest was in Q1, that was 4,219 units, and this quarter they were able to clock 6,008 units. By the way, I also found out one more interesting piece of information, that this quarter they delivered 40 electric buses to Chandigarh. Now let's move on with the future plans. As far as their commercial vehicle segment is concerned, they believe that yes, they can see good traction mainly because of the government's focus on infrastructure spending. Now as far as bikes are concerned, you might be like, what about EVs? Till now we don't have an EV in the Royal Enfield category, right? But what are the company's plans for that? Currently we are in 2023. The company feels that in 2026 they will be launching their first EV bike for Royal Enfield, and just 2 years from that time, that is till 2028, they believe that they'll have a full-fledged EV platform. For that, they are doing a capital expenditure of 10 billion INR in 2024. So it will be interesting to watch how the EVs roll out in this space. Now let's move on to the threats for Royal Enfield, or basically Eicher Motors. The first point is continuation of trend. Now what do I mean by that? Till now, owning a Royal Enfield is considered to be like something amazing, right? And for that, in fact, they also take certain specific efforts. For example, they conduct events like Rider Mania, where all these bikers will come together and enjoy, riding together, having an experience basically. But if this trend doesn't continue, then this can lead to a dropping of their market share. This could be a possibility, threat for the company. Second one is market cannibalization. And what do I mean by this? Basically, this company comes up with similar looking products. Now, for an outsider, for a person like me, I don't understand really a difference between these two bikes. Like, I feel that they're almost the same. But if I were to talk about two cars, like one is a hatchback, one is a sedan, one is an SUV, one is a 5-seater, one is a 7-seater, for an outsider like me, I can easily differentiate and I may buy cars of the same brand, considering it to be totally different types of cars. But if I don't understand the difference between two Royal Enfield bikes which look pretty similar, then I myself might move to another brand to buy a little bit of different bike. So what happens with market cannibalization is that their own bikes may eat up their own market share. Okay, this could be a possible threat. And the third, I feel, is one of the greater threats. The third one is introduction of bikes in the greater than 250cc category by their global competitors. And to understand a little bit more about this, have a look at this. Bajaj Auto has entered into partnership with Triumph Motorcycles and launched Triumph Speed 400. Also, Hero has launched a partnership with Harley Davidson and launched Harley X440. Now let's have a look at the fundamentals of Eicher Motors Limited, and for that, have a look at this. Now, if you see here, market cap is 90,751 crores. Obviously, it's a large cap company. If you see ROE, ROC, both are good at 21.1% and 27.4%. The debt to equity is as low as 0.02, so a very good debt to equity, and pledged percentage share is also 0. Now, if I were to take you directly to the quarterly results, you can see here that sales have been continuously growing, their operating profits have been also continuously growing, and their operating profit margin stands at the highest right now at 25%. Profit before tax is also at an all-time high of 1,156 crores. If you look at a yearly view though, you can see again sales are at an highest point at 14,442 crores. Again, operating profit margin is the highest. Everything is at an all-time high basically. Operating profit margin is not an all-time high though. It's at 24%, but still not bad. It is recovering from the past 2 years. PBT, it's again at the highest, 3,800 crores. So all in all, pretty good numbers as far as the profit and loss is concerned. If you see compounded sales growth, TTM, it's 40%, compounded profit growth is 73%, but stock price CAGR 1 year is only 5%. So the recovering financials, I personally believe, are yet to be seen in the stock price. ROE, as I mentioned, is very good. Even 10 years ROE is at 22%. Their balance sheet is also pretty much strong. As I mentioned, debt to equity was very low, so borrowings are hardly 288 crores, but reserves are pretty strong at 14,963 crores. Even fixed asset numbers are increasing, and that shows up that their plant and machinery might also be growing. Cash flow from operating activities is again pretty good at 2,847 crores, almost doubling up as compared to the previous year. As far as the shareholding pattern is concerned, yes, FIIs are increasing their stake slowly and steadily as compared to the December and March quarter. You can see here it has increased, and it is almost at highs as if you compare it with the previous quarters as well. So all in all, if you ask me, their finances look pretty good. Well, where can you see the technical analysis of this stock is what I'm going to announce at the end of the video. So keep on watching the video till the end. Which is the second stock? The second stock is, but before that, if you want to learn about fundamental analysis and technical analysis in absolute detail, we have courses about these two, where not only in English but also in Marathi, and that too on our website www.rachanaranade.com. You can also use the special coupon code so that you can get some additional discount. Now let's take you to the second stock, that is Maruti Suzuki Limited. If you have been following our channel, if you have subscribed to it, if you have hit the bell icon, then I'm sure you already know that I have made a separate video on this stock, and wherein I discussed about why this stock is continuously falling. We had discussed about 4-5 key reasons, few of them being chip shortage, which was not in their control. Second one was increase in the raw material prices, which was not in their control. But we had talked about few points which are in their control, and which was like fewer newer launches in the car segment. We had also talked about they not taking keen interest in EV space. We had also talked about the fact that they were not really focusing on the SUV space. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about these 3 points which were in their control and what steps they have taken to overcome these challenges. Now let's try and understand about 2 points first. Number 1, are they really coming up with newer and newer product launches, new car launches? And number 2, about their presence in the SUV space. But you might be like, what's the big deal with SUVs? The big deal is that in 2018, SUV contributed to 24% share in the overall passenger segment, and in 2022 this share has grown up to 43%. Now you can imagine 43% is only the SUV share in the entire passenger segment. And how many cars does Maruti Suzuki have in this? They had only one in this segment, which was the Brezza. Now at that point in time, with only one Brezza, they had only 11% share in the entire SUV space. Have they taken any steps for that? And answer is obviously yes. What they are doing is they are coming up with more and more launches. Maruti has basically uplifted Grand Vitara from Brezza, and they are also following it up with 2 new launches. One is Franx and one is Jimny. Now with these changes, they are hoping that the market share that they had, which was only 11% in this category, they are hoping up to take it up to 25% in this specific category. Well, if you feel only 3 product launches or only 3 new car launches, answer is no. They are also going to come up with this amazing Maruti Suzuki Invicto, which is the Maruti's version of Innova High Cross, and I feel this could be a game changer for Maruti Suzuki. In fact, I've also read about certain things wherein they are coming up with a facelift version of Sia's and 4th gen Maruti Suzuki Swift. So with all these points, I believe they are taking care of 2 important points. Number one, they are definitely coming up with more and more cars, and number two, they're very well focusing on the SUV segment. Now let's come to the EV update for this company. As I mentioned, if you have already watched this video, which was made almost 2 years ago, in this I had mentioned that management said we want to see whether people really get comfortable with EVs or not. If yes, we may plan about launching of EV cars. I'm sure everyone will agree that we have already become comfortable with EVs, and maybe it is because of this that in one of the recent con calls they made this statement wherein they said that yes, we will be launching our next EV car in 2024-25, and they said that the specifications are going to be pretty amazing. They said that the range is going to be 550 kilometers, the battery size is going to be 60 kilowatts, and they are also going to have a competitive charging time. They are looking at competitive charging time, but what we are looking at is competitive pricing, a pocket friendly car, and if it's Maruti, ideally it has to be a pocket friendly car as well. But which could be the new launch? No one still knows about it, but talks are that it could be the WagonR, but in the EV space. So it'll be interesting to watch whether it is whether it's WagonR or some other car. But now coming up to how Maruti sees their product portfolio in 2030. So they feel that in 2030 it could look something like this, with 60% in CNG and internal combustion engine vehicles, 25% in hybrid, and 15% in electric. And if this were to be true, then they'll have to really work hard in the EV space. Now let's move on to the fundamentals of Maruti Suzuki Limited, but this time I'm not going to tell you the fundamentals. It's going to be you who is going to tell me the fundamentals. How to do the analysis? You can just try and copy the Eicher Motors analysis for this company. The best comment, I'm going to pin that. So try your best to do a very good fundamental analysis of this stock. As far as the technicals are concerned, be it Maruti Suzuki or be it Eicher Motors Limited, I'm going to do a separate blog on this. Where will you find the blog? It will be on our website www.rachanaranade.com. You just have to go to the blog section, and of course it's free of cost. Don't forget to have a look at it, and also let me know in the comment section whether you enjoy reading our blogs relating to technical analysis. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to share it with your friends and relatives. If you want to know more about Maruti Suzuki, in the previous video that I discussed, you can click here. And if you want to know more about Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana, you can click here. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.